Welcome to How to Real Estate Podcast, a podcast to help you start, elevate, and catapult your real estate investing career. And you have just entered How To Podcast Clips. To watch the full podcast, click on the card above. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future podcasts coming out every single Monday. Hit that bell, and we'll see you on the back end.
So it sounds like you started, when you left that job that you had, you started investing. And at what point then did you get your real estate license?
So, good question. Having done a handful of flips and different deals, I realized even though I had agents that were giving me a pretty decent deal with their commissions, I still seemed to be the one negotiating some of the deals or working with some of even the buying agents, having relationships with some of the buying agents, knowing the situation. And so I just realized I was leaving a lot of money on the table, not being an agent myself, and then a lot of friends and families and acquaintances coming to me knowing that that was in real estate, but not realizing that I wasn't an agent. So they would ask me, hey, I'm looking to buy or sell, can you help me? And at that point I was just like, man, I can't, but this guy can. And so at that point I just decided it was a good decision to get my real estate license, and it would just be a good bonus to have with what I was doing. And I'm actually really glad I did. It's opened a lot of doors for me as far as being able to network. A lot of my deals come from other agents because so many agents have that kind of tunnel vision where they just focus on their commissions.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these opportunities come their way, but they don't know what to do with it. So I actually will gladly have them represent me as the buyer, even though I'm an agent. If they bring me the deal, I'll tell them, hey, you represent me as the buyer, and that way you can get a commission for bringing me a deal. So I've actually had quite a few deals work out that way by other agents bringing me deals.
So even as an agent, you were able to find those. Well, you can't say pocket listings anymore, but they bring you deals, and they would even represent you, even though you're an agent. But you did that to mostly as motivation for them to bring deals to you, right?
Correct.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a good way to get quite a bit of business.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Mm. So is that the main focus on how you find deals? Is this through other agents or through Warm Market, or do you have other methods? Or is that your bread and butter?
Yeah, that's my bread and butter. I've grown up and lived in Weber and Davis County my whole life, and so my sphere of influence, my Warm Market, most of my connections are all Weber Davis County, and so I'd say 90% of my deals are all within those two counties.
That's awesome.
So,
right. So, how do you how do you get those agents to find deals to you or bring deals to you? Are you just trying to talk to as many agents as you can, or is it just within your own brokerage, or what are you doing to get them?
Being in real estate and I go to a lot of networking meetings and different things, and so I guess just building up over the last 5 years, I've been able to come across between networking meetings, social media and different things, people know what I'm doing, and so there's a lot of people that either reach out to me with deals or wanting to learn what I'm doing, and so I go out to lunch with people all the time, which I enjoy.
Yeah,
but I enjoy connecting with people, and ultimately that's what real estate comes down to is relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's definitely what drives me. Is I'm definitely a people person, and so I guess real estate is just kind of a side gig with all the relationships there, but yeah, the passion is real estate and for sure the people.
Right.
So.
And since you've been an agent for 18 months now, can you, I don't know what's the percentage of so out of the transactions you've done in the last 18 months,
mm-hmm.
would you say the percentage of actually just acting as an agent and helping people out, like signing or listing or buying a house, as opposed to doing your own deals? Are you still focusing mostly on your deals, or what's the percentage?
I would say it's probably about 70-30. 70% is probably mostly my own deals and 30% agent. But I'd actually kind of like to get that probably closer to 50-50. A little bit more consistency with the agent stuff.
Sure. And
just help drive the investing that much more. But I'd like to keep it about 50-50.
Awesome. Cool. So what, how has it like, when you're doing wholesales or flips, has being an agent helped or deterred some of this out? Because there's certain things as an agent we have to disclose we're an agent, we're talking to people. And so, what are some of the pros and cons of being an investor and an agent?
I've actually, again, there's the disclosure, the paperwork, a few extra hoops to jump through that way. But my broker actually recommends and asks that we don't wholesale or assign contracts, and so I just double closed on everything.
Okay.
So which, in the end, it costs a little bit more in closing costs and paying hard money lenders for to borrow their money for a short time frame, but it keeps it a little bit cleaner and keeps everybody happy.
Sure.
So that just to make him happy, and it actually, a lot of times too, what we've done is when we do a deal with somebody, we'll typically say we'll close on this date and we'll give you up to 2 weeks to move out after you've got your money. That way you've got your money and you can take what you want, leave behind what you don't want, and that way there's no real excuse for them to not be able to leave. Well, sometimes people have that issue where they've got their money and then they end up squatting, and so we'll usually put anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 in an escrow account, and that way once they're out within those 14 days, we release those funds out of that escrow account, and that way they have incentive. They've already got their money, but then they get that extra $5,000 or $10,000 that we hold back in an escrow account to incentivize them to be out within the first 14 days after we close.
Gotcha. And has that helped your close rate? Like tell them hey, I'll give you an extra 2 weeks. I mean, how's that?
Yeah, I'd say the last 2 deals that we've done, they haven't even talked to anybody else. These were just kind of off-market deals, and they actually, both of them were referrals, just word of mouth, and they closed with us. We got one contract signed within 24 hours of meeting them, and the second one was we met them that same day and had the contract written up within probably an hour or 2 of just meeting them.
That's awesome.
So.
And my deals with working with people for like 6 months, I swear.
Yeah, well, and that's those. There's definitely those too, but yeah, every once in a while you get those ones that are they're ready to go yesterday. So.
Yep, no, 100%. That's awesome, man. So for those, you mentioned double close. So for a lot of our listeners and people that are watching on YouTube, what is double close? Walk us through that whole process.
That just means that we will get a Rep C, or real estate purchase contract, signed. I will close on it myself with my entity, and then I will turn around and sell it to an end buyer, whether that's somebody that wants to live in the house, or a flipper, or somebody that wants to turn it into a rental. So basically, I'm closing on it myself, and then I'm turning around and selling it to an end buyer and closing on it with them. So
what's the time frame? Do you like the same day those 2 transactions happen, or what's that look like?
Usually it's within 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes it's been within a matter of days, but the last few that we've done, it's been 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. So you put it in you basically buy with the hard money lenders or with hard and private money lenders, and then 2 to 3 weeks you find a buyer. So do you just market like you would normally as an agent? Or how are you marketing it to? Just
through other connections.
Yeah.
Over 5 years, you get quite a few buyers and people, and sometimes I'll even partner with other wholesalers that have quite a bit of a buyer's list.
Yeah.
And so, I've partnered with other wholesalers, and they'll throw it out on their cash buyers list, and then they'll just take a little bit of a cut. But one of the deals we've done recently, we did that, and we just did a 70-30 split, and it was beneficial for both of us.
Sure.
So
yeah, if you ever want to use my list, let me know.
Okay, sounds good. Anytime.
We hope you liked that podcast. Stay tuned for next Monday for a brand new podcast and a brand new guest. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.